Celebrating 49 years on the air, award-winning Farm Week is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.
Today on Farm Week, a quick look at the recent passage of the Farm Bill. Guess what got left out? In Southern Gardening, do the polka. And no, you won't need Lawrence Welk for this one. Plus, it's a gouda story, one of the cheesiest stories about Mississippi State you'll ever see. And in our feature, another encore. Zach's on the other side of the world for this one. Farm Week starts right now.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach Ashmore.
And I'm Mike Russell. Great to have you with us again here on Farm Week. It was a long time coming, 3 years in fact, but the new Farm Bill was finally passed. On the other hand, it was anything but the normal omnibus spending package it usually is. Peter Tubbs has more.
After nearly a week of jockeying and verbal fisticuffs in Congress concluded, Republicans tried to drag the much-delayed Farm Bill over the finish line in the House of Representatives. Votes were taken on dozens of amendments before the final vote took place on Thursday.
At the end of the day, we are sitting here talking about the Farm Bill. And this amendment does nothing to materially address the very real issues farmers are facing as they look at planting season today. And all I could really hear is the word Brazil. We have forced our largest export markets, like China, to Brazil and Argentina because of bad policies from this administration.
And that this bill passed with bipartisan votes out of committee. So the political talking points for November that this is a partisan vote, a partisan bill, are just outrageous.
Supporters of the current framing of the Farm Bill won the vote by a 25-vote margin, which followed party lines.
On this vote, the yeas were 224, the nays were 200. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Farm bills stand for 5 years, but America's agricultural policy is still using the terms of the Farm Bill signed in 2018. That version of the legislation has been extended 3 different times. The approved House version also locks in $187 billion in cuts to the Food Assistance Program, SNAP, that were specified in President Trump's tax and spending bill signed last year. A controversial provision that would have shielded pesticide manufacturers from legal liability and would have required more specific labeling was removed from the bill. A contentious measure relating to the ethanol blend E15 was also taken out of the legislation, and a standalone bill is scheduled for a vote in the House on May 13th. Language that would supersede California's Proposition 12, a measure mandating the size of living space for hogs and chickens, remains in the House version of the bill. There is currently no timeline for when debate will begin on the Farm Bill in the Senate chamber.
And now, say cheese. Did you know that cheese is made right here at Mississippi State, known all across the country and beyond? That cheese, in a variety of flavor profiles, has quite a reputation, as you'll see. I took a little tour a while back, and what I saw was amazing. This is the Memphis Sales Store at Mississippi State. Memphis for Mississippi Agricultural and Forestry Experiment Station. In this store, they sell just about everything, including ice cream, about 25,000 gallons a year, cheddar cheese, 50,000 20-pound blocks sold a year, and Edam cheese, about 50,000 3-pound balls of it sold a year. People come from all over to buy it, and they call from all over to have it shipped to them. The man behind the operation is T.J. Evans, the dairy plant manager. The plant's been in operation since 1938, but TJ's been the boss for 26 years. And when it comes to making cheese, nobody knows the process better than him. Here's a quick thumbnail on how cheddar gets made.
Normally we have one guy that comes in, usually around 4 o'clock in the morning. He will start up the milk room. He will sanitize everything, get everything ready. He will run a vat of cheese. We normally run 2 vats of cheese a day. He will run 6,700 pounds of milk into that cheese vat. The rest of our employees come in at 6 o'clock. We will start that vat of cheese at 6 with a starter culture. 1 hour later, we add color, which gives the cheese this yellow shade. 30 minutes after that, we will cut the curd and we will start cooking it. During all this time, your milk is 90 degrees. Once we start cooking it, we will raise the temperature 2 degrees every 5 minutes till it reaches 102 degrees. And we will cook it from anywhere from an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. We will cook the curd. After that, we will drain the whey off. You will be left with the curd. We divide it out on each side of the vat. Once we get it piled and divided out, we start checking an acid on the whey. And we will turn it 8 times. So once the whey gets to where we want it, we will mill it back down, salt it, pile it up, scoop it up in a bucket and weigh it out, and then put it in a hoop. A big metal hoop, like a 20-pound block. After that, it goes in a press, sits in a press overnight. The next day, we will package it, and then it goes into a cooler for storage and aging. Sounds like a lot, but it doesn't take long.
Sounds like a complicated process, but it runs like clockwork every single day. And when it's all said and done, there's a mountain of tasty cheese just waiting to be sold and enjoyed locally and across the country. It goes fast. Even the dairy plant student workers are surprised just how fast the Edam cheese disappears.
Whenever we get a new crew of students, I will walk them in this cooler and walk them back here when this cooler's full, and I will tell them, I'll ask them, you see all this cheese? It took us a year to make this. By the middle of December, it's going to be gone. They're like, no. I'm like, yeah. Come middle of December, cheese is gone.
You might be surprised to know that all of the milk from which all that cheddar and Edam cheese is made comes from cows right here at Mississippi State University. None of the milk comes from outside the campus.
Now, time to do the polka. And as fun as that might be, especially in the upper Midwest, we're really talking about adding a fun flair to your landscape. Here's Eddie Smith, Sans Lederhosen, with the how-to.
If you're looking to brighten up areas around your porch, patio, or landscape, I've got just the plant for you. Polka dot plants. These beauties pack a punch with their vibrant speckled foliage.
Let's start with Splash Select Red. This variety brings bold, deep red foliage splashed with green margins. It's eye-catching and adds that rich, warm tone we love in southern plantings. Now, if you really want something that brightens up a shady corner, Splash Select White is your go-to. Its soft white leaves, lightly speckled with green, almost glow in low light. And then there's a classic favorite, Pink Splash. With its soft pink tones and green speckles, it gives you a cheerful cottage-style look that fits right here in the South. All of these plants are perfect for mixing with flowering annuals or even standing alone in a decorative pot. Polka dot plants thrive in bright, indirect light or partial shade, making them perfect for porches and patios where they're protected from the harsh afternoon sun that can fade their vibrant colors. One of the reasons they perform so well here in the South is their love for humidity, so they'll be right at home during our warm summer months. To keep plants looking full and bushy instead of leggy, be sure to pinch back the stems regularly, which encourages more compact, attractive growth.
Whether you're dressing up a shady area or adding a pop of color indoors, polka dot plants are a fun, easy way to bring vibrant foliage in your space. I'm Eddie Smith. I look forward to seeing you next time on Southern Gardening.
We'll take a break right here, but don't go away. Coming up in our Farm Week feature, Zach's special story from the other side of the world. You may not know it, but Italy is a major world producer of citrus, and one place in particular is famous within the country for its lemons, Sorrento. It wasn't always that way, but through clever ag practices, grafting, and a dedication to quality, these fruits have become a staple product of the Amalfi Coast region. Zach's trip to the old country coming up on Farm Week. Don't go away.
Mississippi, let's get moving. Join the Magnolia Moves Activity Challenge. The Mississippi State University Extension Service is offering this virtual challenge for individuals of any age or teams of family, colleagues, students, church members, or any other group. Join the 6-week April the 20th through May 31st challenge at no cost, and you'll set your own goals for becoming more active and eating healthier. You'll download the MoveSpring app or use the desktop version. Register for Magnolia Moves, and with automatic tracking, your movements and activities will be captured automatically to give you a clear, real-time view of your progress and achievements. Also, Extension will hold weekly prize drawings for participation across 5 different age categories. So join us and get fit and feel better, eat healthier, manage your weight, and exercise regularly. Magnolia Moves makes fitness accessible, practical, and enjoyable for everyone. Visit msuext.ms/Magnolia Moves to learn more, ask questions, and register today.
I believe in people and their hopes, their aspirations, and their faith. I believe in intellectual freedom to search for and present the truth without bias and with courteous tolerance toward the views of others. I believe that education is a lifelong process, and the greatest university is the home. That my success as a teacher is proportional to those qualities of mind and spirit that give me welcome entrance to the homes of the families I serve. Because I believe these things, I am an Extension professional.
Time for the market report. Prices still rising.
And it would seem international issues are still a big reason for it. We'll get into it. But first, the numbers. What were the week's biggest gains and losses? And then the annual poultry production report, along with oil and seeds and crop progress. And finally, in our row report, market analyst Arlen Suderman talks international trade. So, markets closed yet again on the upswing with, once again, livestock split. Let's take a look. The week's biggest gain, cotton up nearly 5 cents, more than a 6% increase from the previous week. The week's biggest loss, lumber down 9.5 bucks, more than a 1.5% decrease from the previous week. So, some new reports released by the USDA that give us some insight into the current state of ag here in the U.S. First up, the 2025 Poultry Production Value Report, followed by this month's Fats and Oils Report, and then the latest Crop Progress Report. Here's what they had to say. In the 2025 Poultry Production and Value Summary Annual Report, combined production value of broilers, eggs, and turkeys up 16% from 2024. Of that, 55% were broilers, 39% eggs, 7% turkeys, and less than 1% from chickens. Value of broilers produced last year down 2% compared to 2024, while total number produced up 1% and live weight up 2%. Value of turkeys up 51% compared to 2024, while number raised down 3% and total production also down 5%. Value of all egg production up 49% compared to 2024, while production down 4%. In this month's Fats and Oils report, soybeans crushed for crude oil in March 6% higher than February this year and 10% higher than last year. Actual oil produced also up 6% compared to February and 7% compared to last year. Soybean oil once refined, production up 14% compared to February and 7% from last year. Canola seeds crushed for crude oil in March this year up 21% compared to February this year and 21% higher than March last year. Actual oil produced up 18% compared to February this year and 13% from March last year. Canola once refined oil production up 24% from February this year and 3% from March of last year. In the latest Crop Progress Report, the 18 highest corn-producing states have 38% corn acreage planted, the same as last year, and 4% higher than the 4-year average. In the 18 highest soybean producing states, 33% acreage planted, 5% higher than last year and 10% higher than the 4-year average. In the 15 highest cotton producing states, 21% acreage planted, 1% higher than last year and 2% higher than the 4-year average. In the 6 highest rice producing states, 79% acreage planted, 7% higher than last year and 13% higher than the 4-year average. This week in our Row Report, international trade a big issue concerning prices, especially between the U.S. and China. Analyst Arlen Suderman gives some speculations on what could happen and the results of those decisions. Suffice to say, the upcoming deal could have a large effect.
I think it'll be critical to watch again the May 14-15 visit of Trump to Beijing. Is corn and/or ethanol in the trade agreement? I think there's a possibility, that's not a forecast, but I think there's a possibility it could because of some of the dynamics in China. China doesn't need the corn, but they have room for the corn. They don't have room for the soybeans in their reserve. And so therefore it could. And if that were to happen, let's say 10 million metric tons of corn, that would certainly have a big impact on the balance sheet, particularly since this next year is expected to be a significantly smaller crop. So that trade agreement is the next pivotal thing, May 14-15. So May 12, crop report for wheat, May 14-15, trade agreement with China, assuming that Trump goes, that the war allows him to be away from Washington to go. I think that will tell us a lot. It'll be a very pivotal time for the rest of the year for marketing. If the May trade agreement includes any old crop soybeans, then we suddenly have a concern. If it doesn't, we don't have any concern with old crop. But the other question is, will they renegotiate the 25 million metric tons that's in the handshake agreement for next marketing year and the 2 after that? With this biofuel program, we won't have the 25 million metric tons short of an amazingly large crop. And so the market would need to buy late acres. But if there's a lot of corn in there as well, corn will suddenly really need to. And that's why if you've really been watching over the last couple of weeks, it's the new crop, November soybeans, December corn that have had the action. That's where we've seen more energy of late. Starting to worry about the acres. Now, if neither is in the trade agreement, we've got enough to get us to the next harvest, and we've probably got enough for the next year as well. But the real concern is if we're going to have to import probably about 1.6 billion gallons or so of already made fuel to hit the RVO requirement this year, according to our vegetable oil people. And because we don't have the capacity to produce it here in the United States. If we had the capacity and the crush capacity, then we'd be worried about enough soybean acres for next year with this RVO.
And that's it for a deeper look into the markets. Let's not forget that weather also a big factor in prices right now, as there's still a drought going on with no sign of letting up. Mike?
Thank you, Zach. And now a special report from Zach from the other side of the world. As we said earlier, Zach visited Italy a short while back. More about that in a few minutes. But while he was in Italy, he got an idea for the story you're about to see. So sit back, relax, and see how they do things in the old country.
In the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, across the Bay of Naples, is a collection of communities known as Sorrento. Known mostly for tourism, as this region of Italy can best be described as dramatically beautiful. It's also known for a particular crop, citrus, and they've been growing it for centuries.
From 1492 from India and China, and they came, obviously through lots of traveling. And also say thank you to the Spanish and Portuguese. And here people now say it's a lemon from Sorrento, but we have to know the history. And now it's lemon from Sorrento. As you can see the consistency of the lemon, they are very healthy because we look after them. If you look above, there is a pergolato. Pergolato Sorrentino is actually from this area. In the past, they were used to do that to cover the heavy rain, the cold, the sun, and the insect. But we were used to have something more heavy, like a cover up. Now we just use nets. We can here the lemon can bloom 5 times per year. We use the lemon for orange marmalade, lemon marmalade, for oil with lemon inside, with orange inside, and essential oils. We use it for ice cream, giving the flavor. Very expensive but very effective. Natural, organic, and it's kilometer zero. We call it kilometer zero because it doesn't travel. A good food doesn't need transportation. The lemon is actually well organic cured. There is no chemical used, and we call it limone di Sorrento IGP.
Sarebbe identificazione geografica protetta.
It means identification geographically protect.
Lemons were not the original main citrus crop of this area. For many years, it was oranges. But less than a century ago, market conditions made that business more challenging.
Long time ago, in Sorrento, there were only orange trees, not lemon trees. Because Spain, they made a new cultivation of orange trees, and the market of orange in Italy, and especially in Sorrento, died because no competitor, there is no, we can't compete with them. That's why the people that live in Sorrento decide to make a graft on the orange tree of lemon tree. And from there, we made lemons of Sorrento. You will find lemon trees everywhere in all parts of the world, but you never find a lemon like lemon trees in Sorrento, because the characteristics that we are here near the sea, the volcanic place here, the temperature, you never find a lemon like this. But not because of mine, because it's real. It's real.
And that's one of the secrets of the lemon trade in Sorrento. They had to move quickly to transition. And since it takes years for lemon trees to produce, they turned to grafting them onto already existing orange trees to give them a head start. It's a process we are familiar with here in Mississippi. We've used it in our pecan industry to transition varieties.
And put this part of lemon here, for example. They cut a piece here and put the lemons part inside here and close it. Close it with a line, right? And after a month, 30 days, 25 days, you can see a new part of lemon born here.
So, what exactly do they make with all the citrus they harvest? Well, quite a few things. There are many small-scale farmers in the region, and they all contract with the same corporation to sell their lemons, in a similar fashion to Mississippi chicken farmers.
So we collect the lemons and go directly to, there is a big industry of lemon, Solagri. There is a cooperative of many farmers that take lemons all together there, and they work and they sell no part a big market of Italy, a big company, and also a little part to the rest of the world, like America, Germany, France, many countries we export our lemon.
Essential essence is one of the goods they make from the Sorrento lemon. It's used in many other wares, from beauty products to food. However, there's also another iconic item from the region, a particular drink that those who visit easily fall in love with.
This is a very interesting, all the lemons that from all these farmer, they actually make the limoncello for 3 makes all around here. Maro Lucano, Villa Massa, PM, they make the limoncello. That the limoncello is our, southern drink that we make with from 90 to 97% of alcohol and beautiful lemons that you see around.
However, the lemon business doesn't make as much money as it used to. There's a lot of competition on the international market. So, to supplement their income, many farmers have taken to opening bed and breakfasts on their property to allow tourists the opportunity to enjoy peace outside the city.
Because I've got many tourists come here only to see our garden. Because no one likes to stay in a hotel, also 5 stars downtown. We have all the service, all the comfort, but you don't have this. Our lemon is 0 kilometers also, but normally we usually also to plant some vegetables, that eggplant, tomato, and we used to eat normally like a 0 kilometer. Where our guests come here, collect fresh vegetables and cook together and eat at the end. They made a different cooking class. We want to try to make a different experience for our guests.
It's no secret that Sorrento loves its lemons. You can't go far in the city without seeing some form of product either made from or celebrating the industry. And it's not just for tourists. Locals enjoy fresh lemons straight from the grove on a regular basis, and it's an ingrained part of everyday life.
Beautiful in Italy, quite an educational experience.
Absolutely interesting to see all that citrus grown in one spot. Great story. Well, next week, another encore, the reigning Mississippi Tree Farmer of the Year.
The 2025 winner is unique. We did some research and no one has heard of a tree farmer quite like this one. 1,300 acres total, about a third of it used for recreation.
It is one of the premier sites of its type in the Southeast, drawing visitors from several states. Are you curious? The 2025 Tree Farmer of the Year, that's next time on Farm Week.
Remember, if you missed a story, look for past episodes of Farm Week on our website at farmweek.tv.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next week. Thanks for watching.